Okay, welcome back MegaWhale team. Thanks for tuning into another video. Today's video is going to be an update for Bitcoin. Forgive me if I sound a little bit tired. I haven't had a lot of sleep. I just got back from the Sunshine Coast, so a lot of driving and a lot of late nights, but we're back at it and we're here to give you guys the most recent update for Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about the short-term price direction, and I also want to talk about a few technical indicators that have flashed some warning signs. I want to briefly discuss the Gaussian channel, Ichimoku Cloud, and a few other ones to hopefully give us an indication of where the price is headed. Before we get into anything else, I do want to bring up the total cryptocurrency market cap. And we use the total cryptocurrency market cap to predict this recent Bitcoin drop before it actually occurred. And we were saying at this heavy zone of resistance, which was 2.14 trillion, if we got rejected from this level, we would see a very strong breakdown all the way down to 1.925 trillion, and the market will bleed heavily. We said this a few videos back, a few days ago we did a video on this, and basically that we have seen exactly that occur. So what next? Well, first and foremost, this is acting as a pretty strong support. We're going to zoom out a little here. If we end up losing this level, we're going to be heading down a little bit lower. So we can obviously draw an uptrending line over here, and we do have a little bit of room here to continue downwards. That will bring us to around 1.875 trillion. So we can definitely go lower here. We can probably bounce, but I'm expecting the prices to continue downwards. I'm going to talk about why just shortly. So we're going to move back to Bitcoin chart, and we are still very much so in this ascending channel that we've been in since basically the start of the year. We've talked about it a lot, so we're not going to talk about it too much today, but we'll go down to about smaller time frame. We can see a lot of things happening. First and foremost, it actually looks like we've formed an extended version of the original bull flag, and the original bull flag was this formation here, which we ended up breaking down from. Not only did we break down from, we actually pushed back upwards, got rejected, and shot back down again, which is obviously very bearish. And we told you guys, you know, if we lose, we said if we lose this level again, and this is why we were ranging them, if we lose this level again, this red line, our 4,444 support line, will not hold the second time and we will crash. We have seen that happen. We have retraced. We are back down over here. We are underneath that major zone of support, of course, which was the 44,000. We are slightly above our next support zone at 41,300, but we are currently seeing a bit of diagonal support on this possible bull flag formation that we're seeing. It's very likely that we can continue upwards here and obviously go to break out of this channel, but we have talked about the implications and what we would need to see for that to occur. We talked about that in our previous video, and I would highly recommend, if you haven't watched the video before last, go ahead and click on that. It's about an 18 minute video discussion. We talk about Bitcoin, we talk about the economy, we talk about interest rates, we talk about absolutely everything. It's the most comprehensive update you will find on Bitcoin currently on YouTube. So go ahead and watch that video and come back to this one when you're done. So assuming you've watched that video, you know a lot about our price predictions and targets. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the technicals on the short term. Of course, we do have to keep in mind that we are rejecting off this midline, but we are finding support on the bottom, so the declining support line of this supposed channel. This could very well result in a push upwards and potentially even a push back up to this resistance level. I would say, and I would definitely argue, that is more likely we continue down into this zone first before we find support before moving upwards. And I do want to bring up the Gaussian channel. For those of you who know, I use the Gaussian channel to predict the swing up to 48k, and we said we were around about this zone here. I said we were ranging within this Gaussian channel for quite some time, and usually when that happens, we do get explosive moves upwards, and we saw a very strong move upwards from here. We're seeing a similar thing on the downside now. Usually when you break into the Gaussian channel, and I'm going to show you a few examples here, over here, and over here, usually when you break within the Gaussian channel from the top side, you ultimately end up either at the bottom of the Gaussian channel, or you end up breaking directly through the Gaussian channel. So what we are expecting is a retest down on the Gaussian channel, which will sit around 38,000. If we go back to our chart, where is that going to take us? Well, $38,000 will take us anywhere between this lower black line and this dotted line, all right? So it's $38,000 range. What does that mean? I think we might see a drop down, another crazy wick, pushing back up, finding support, and potentially moving upwards. That is what I think is going to happen in the short term. We do have to obviously keep an eye on all scenarios. I'm just going to reiterate for all the new viewers here, we are currently in an ascending channel. An ascending channel is a bearish structure. We do have to remain bearish until proven otherwise. Yes, we are trading the trend. Yes, we are getting on these swings and making profits. But what you should be focused on doing right now is preserving your funds, preserving your capital. You shouldn't be looking at buying long-term positions. You shouldn't be looking at holding anything. You should more or less be entering the market, catching a few percent, selling out back to your stablecoins. Jumping in, making a few percent, selling out back to your stablecoins. We already said when we break over 48,000, I'm going to bring up the 200-day moving average. When we break over this 200-day moving average, we can see it's slightly above 48,000 now. That is officially when the market will flip bullish. And when the market flips bullish, that is when you can enter with more confidence and more aggression. All right, that is where your true profits will come. Right now, it's a game of preservation. Right now, it is a game of stacking with low risk. All right, until then, we are very much still on the downside direction. So with that being said, let's bring up a few technical indicators on this chart. I do want to use this chart for the indicators. I did show you the Gaussian channel on the previous chart, which is a little bit less cluttered. But if we go back to it real quickly, we don't have a lot of data. So we'll go back to our primary chart over here. And obviously our 200-day moving average acting as a major support. We can bring up the 100-day moving average. And this is a really important one over here. The 100-day moving average has acted as a very strong support for Bitcoin in the past. And just zooming back to the last 6 months, we can see in September, we saw the 100-day moving average act as a very strong support. Once again, in November, the end of November, we saw it act as a strong support. And we've seen a previous, many accounts of when we lose that 100-day moving average. We can see over here, again, acting as support and finally losing that 100-day moving average again over here. We see we have this significant sell-off, all right? And I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen again, but if we do lose a 100-day moving average, we will see quite a substantial sell-off here. And it is no coincidence that 100-day moving average is, gliding a little bit under the price and of course pushing into this $41,000 support range where we will most likely see a retest. So guys, what should you do right now? This is the question. What should you be doing right now? What should you act? How should you react to a market? Well, personally, I believe, guys, we are trading in a small declining, so descending channel, and we obviously have our mid-range and our upper range. As you can see, every time we manage to break over this mid-range, we see a push to this upper side of the channel. Alternatively, every time we break below this mid-range, we end up pushing down to the bottom side of this channel, obviously rejecting on that mid-range again. I'd be keeping an eye on this channel. I'm just going to extend it out for you guys now, and I'll be keeping an eye on this channel. If we manage to break back above this channel, I'd be looking to buy some altcoins. I'll be looking to swing trade this back up to this range here and hopefully catching a top over here and selling off again, making some profits. On the short term, again, if we do lose this channel here, we can expect anything between a spike downwards and a pushback upwards to the trend just fully reversing from here. Should I say continuing at a much more aggressive pace, continuing further down to about $38,000. Alright guys, we're not going to go over too much. I'm really tired. Sorry for the short video. I hope it made sense. We're going to elaborate on this a little bit more in another video, hopefully tomorrow or the day after. Just to wrap everything up and to summarize everything, if you're still watching, obviously thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, liking, follow us on Twitter and Telegram. But if you're still watching, just to summarize, not a lot has happened. Alright, and I do want to just emphasize that, and I told you guys in the previous video that as long as we range, alright, as long as we're ranging, we shouldn't be too concerned. And I said we're ranging above, and I'm just going to zoom out, delete these, and just show you a little bit more of a reason why I'm saying this. In the previous video, so if you think about the video we did about 4 or 5 days, maybe even a little long, about a week ago, before we lost this zone, so when we were kind of in this range here, we did a video and we said, as long as we're ranging between this zone, you should not be too concerned with the price movement, because all it is the price bouncing between resistance, support, bouncing between resistance, support. When should you become concerned with the price movement? Well, you should become concerned with the price movement when you see something like this. We saw this candle break below. That is now when we have our a confirmation of our trend or our sideways price action being broken, and that is an indication the price was going to crash, and it did crash. All right, so if you enter short positions at that point, congratulations. Looking back on it, if we saw a candle push up here and close up here, that would be a sign that the trend is broken to the upside. We enter our trades, we expect to push higher. All right, guys, so exactly the same thing happens here. exactly the same thing. We are pushing sideways once again between a major support and resistance. We can expect much more aggressive swings coming forward into a few days, looking to get your entries in this range and your exits in this range. If the price pushes through that range, find support. Once again, we're ranging. We're not looking to buy. We're not looking to sell. We're ranging. We will enter or exit again, either on a break below or a break above. All right, I hope that makes sense, and I'll catch you in the next video.